Once, there used to live a Zen master on the top of a mountain. One day, a man who was very depressed in his life went to him to ask for the solution. He asked the Zen master, Master, I am very depressed in my life. I never feel motivated to do anything. I always feel that I am not worth of anything and I can't do anything worthful in my life. Please tell me the solution. Zen master listened to him and then said to do one thing. Master told the man to repeat a sentence that I am a loser, I can't do anything in my life loudly. Man got confused, but he still shouted as told by the master. He shouted loudly, I am a loser, and I can't do anything in my life. After shouting, the man listened the same sentence echoed from the mountain. Zen master again said, Now this time, shout, I am born to be a champion, and I can do anything in my life. Man again shouted loudly, I am a born champion, and I can do anything in my life. Man again listened the same echo coming from the mountains. Then the Zen master asked the man, Have you understood what I want to say? Man said, No, master, I am not clear. Then the master explained to him, Whatever echo you are listening from the mountains, those words has been sent by you. You are creator of those sentences that you are listening as. In the same way, whatever negative thoughts, whatever bad feelings about yourself you are feeling or listening, they all are created by you. Your mind is creating it. So stop creating that thing. You won't listen them anymore. Long back, a young boy named James lived in a deserted village located in the vicinity of a desert. He was an educated person and doing business in surrounding areas. He had a beautiful wife and a cute son in his family. But he was not happy with his life. Every now and then he had to face a new problem in life. He always used to get worried and kept thinking about the problems. Once a saint came along with the caravan of 100 camels outside his village and decided to stay there for a few days. Soon there were talks all around the nearby villages that the saint solves the problems of people with his wisdom. People began to reach him with their problems. James also came to know about this, and he also decided to visit the saint. When James reached the place, there was a huge crowd of hundreds of people. After waiting for a long time, James' turn came for meeting with Saint. He asked the saint, Master, I am very unhappy with my life. All the time, the problems surround me. Sometimes the business tension is there, sometimes family problems, and sometimes I am worried about my health. Please tell such a solution that all the problems from my life come to an end and I can live happily. Saint smiled and said, Son, it's very late today. I will give your answer tomorrow morning. But will you do a small thing for me? James agreed to do the needful for the saint. Then the saint said, Look, son, there are 100 camels in our caravan. The caretaker of them has fallen sick today. I want you to take care of them tonight. Just ensure that all the camels sit down and take proper rest. When all the 100 camels will sit down, then you can also go and sleep. After guiding James, the saint went to his tent. The next morning, Saint met James and asked, My son, I hope you had quality sleep last night. James felt miserable and replied, No, I couldn't sleep even for a single moment. I tried a lot, but I couldn't make all the camels sitting down. Saint smiled and said, I knew this would be the case. So far, it has never happened that all these camels sit together. James asked in the voice of anguish, Then why did you ask me to do this? Then Saint replied, Son, did you notice what have you experienced last night? No matter how much you tried, All the camels did not sit together. If you ensured the camels on one side have sat, then on the other side you would have found few others camels standing. Saint further said, similarly, when you solve one problem, then for some reason or other you will find problems keep coming in life. As long as you will live, these problems will keep arising, sometimes less and sometimes more. So what should we do? James asked. Then Saint replied, despite these problems, learn to enjoy the life. If you noticed what happened last night, there were many camels which sat down by themselves. For many, you had to put some effort, but many camels didn't sit even after your enormous efforts. James confirmed that exactly same happened last night. Saint smiled and said, and if you went back after some time, you would have found that some of the camels who didn't sat even after your lot of efforts have now sat themselves. James replied, yes, it happened last night. Saint asked, did you understand something from this? James didn't have any answer and was looking towards the saint with curious eyes. Then the saint continued, problems are like camels. Some problems get solved themselves. Some get solved when you put some effort, and some problems do not get solved even after trying your best. Trust the timing of your life and leave such problems on time. At right time, these problems themselves will come to an end. James was stern with camel sitting metaphor. Now he had altogether new perspective towards problems of life. Once upon a time, in a small village, lived a young athletic boy. He was a very good runner and also very famous in his surrounding villages for his running capabilities. But the boy was very hungry for success, and for him winning was everything. He measured the success just by winning. One day, that boy participated in running competition held in his village. A large crowd had gathered to witness the sporting spectacle. A wise old man, upon hearing of the little boy, had traveled far to bear the witness also. In that competition, he competed with other two boys. The little boy, sure enough, called on his determination, power, and strength. He took the winning line and came first. The crowd was ecstatic and cheered and waved at him. The little boy felt proud and important. But the wise man, however, remained still and calm, expressing no sentiment. Later, a second race was called, and in this race, two new young and fit challengers came forward and run in competition with little boy. The race was started, and sure enough, the little boy came through and finished first once again. Crowd was ecstatic again and cheered and waved at the little boy. But the wise man remained still and calm, again expressing no sentiment. The little boy, however, again felt proud and more important. He started to plead, another race, another race. Seeing this, the wise old man stepped forward and presented the little boy with two new challengers. Among new challengers, one was an old lady and other was a blind man. What is this? Quizzed the little boy. This is no race, he exclaimed. Then the wise man replied, just race. After all were set on the starting line, race started, and the boy was the only one to finish that race, leaving two challengers standing at the starting line. The little boy was ecstatic and raised his arm in delight. But to his surprise, this time no one from the crowd was cheering. Everyone was just looking at him silently, showing no sentiment. What has happened? Why not do the people join in my success? Little boy asked the wise old man. Then the wise old man replied, race again, but this time finish together. All three of you must finish together. Little boy thought for a while and then again went to the starting line and stood in the middle of the old lady and the blind man. Then he took both the challengers by the hand. The race began and the little boy started to walk slowly to the finishing line and crossed it. This time at the end of the race, crowd was delighted. They smiled, cheered, and waved at the little boy. The wise man smiled and gently nodded his head. Little boy felt proud, but still didn't understand why crowd was not cheering him before, but now cheering when all three of them finished race together. He asked the old man about it. Sir, I don't understand. Who are the crowd cheering for? Which one of us three? Then the wise old man looked into the little boy's eyes, placing his hand on the boy's shoulders. He replied softly, Son, in this race you have won much more than in any race you have ever run before. You have won people's respect, and for this race, crowd cheer not for any winner. They cheer to show the respect how you ran. This is a very deep meaning story, which gives a very deep understanding about life. Once, a carpenter was traveling in a forest with his helper in search of wood. They came to a giant oak tree, which was covering a huge area under its shade. It was huge, with many limbs spreading out and large enough to shade hundreds of oxen. The helper of the carpenter was amazed at the potential lumber contained in that one single tree, but the carpenter passed it by with a mere glance. When his helper asked him why he had passed up such a magnificent tree, then the carpenter replied that he could see at once that the great oak branches were useless to him. He further said, They are so hard that my axe would split if I tried to cut it down. The wood is so heavy that the boat made of it would sink. The branches themselves are so twisted they can't be made into planks. And if I tried them as beams in house, they would collapse. And even if I made a coffin from it, you would not be able to fit someone inside. Altogether, it is a completely useless tree. My friends, this is a short story. The meaning of this story is so deep that it can't be explained here. For that, you will have to ponder your thoughts about this story. But I would like to add here one point, that this story will show that how our life is similar to that oak tree. You must have seen that many times we fail in something, or we are not up to the mark for something in front of few people, but at that time we get tagged that we are useless, we are failure, or we are not worth of anything. Here in the carpenter's perspective, that tree may be useless, but in the perspective of that tree, it is useful in its own way. Similarly, in this society, we are being tagged useless, worthless, but they are just calculating our capability, your capability, in their sense, in their perspective. But in reality, their perspective is not our life. So my friends, never demean yourself or feel worthless if in someone's perspective you are not doing well. You just have to be useful, worthful in your eyes, in your perspective. See you in the next video. Till then, stay healthy, stay happy. Peace.